Whether or not you're brand new to trading or you've been trading for a little while, there's something that you absolutely have to be successful, and that's a brokerage. Basically what a brokerage is it's just a platform that allows you to buy and sell shares of something. So if you want to trade stocks or if you want to trade crypto, you need to have an exchange or a brokerage that you can trade with. So what we're going to be going over in this video is two different brokerages that I'd recommend for beginner traders, and we're going to combine the two and compare them and see which one is better than the other for beginners. Now, there's a few different things that you need to keep in mind when you're considering which brokerage you want to use, and it really comes down to these four requirements in my opinion. And one for a beginner is going to be user interface or ease of use. 2 is going to be basic functionality. 3 is going to be the price or having little to no transaction fees. And then 4 would be reliability. Now, obviously, if you're a much more advanced trader, your order is probably reversed. You probably care way more about reliability than the way that the thing looks. When it comes to a brand new trader though, things matter differently. The things that really matter are, how easy is this thing to figure out? Is it overwhelming when you open the app to understand all the different terminology, to even figure out where you need to be going and where you need to be looking to get off trades successfully? So that's number 1. And then tied with that is number 2, basic functionality. So like I said, being able to buy, being able to sell, having the stocks that you will most likely be trading all available for you to be trading, and then also having, the cryptocurrencies as well, if that's something you're into, available at your disposal to buy and sell. And then having little to no fees. When you get to more advanced trading platforms, the fees can get pretty high as far as commissions go per trade. But as a beginner, it's unlikely that you're going to be extremely profitable on each trade consistently. So what you really don't want is to add to or take away from your small profits or add to your losses by then piling commission fees on top of every single trade that you execute. So what we'll do first is get started talking about Robinhood, okay? Because like I said, it's going to be between Robinhood and Webull in my opinion. Now, if you're just getting started, I would strongly recommend Robinhood over Webull. Now, there might be some controversy with my statement there, but I feel like I have a pretty good reason. So what we can do first is consider why I'm saying Robinhood as the primary suggestion. Well, Robinhood, when you get in, it's very straightforward and to the point. The first thing you'll see is your home screen, which basically just lets you know how much money you're investing at that given time, whether that's $0, whether it's $15,000. And then under that, you can see your buying power, which lets you know how much money do you have on the sidelines ready to go in at any given point when you want to buy into something and place a trade. Then as you scroll down, things are very simple. If you have a watch list, you'll start seeing some of the stocks listed there from your watch list. And then if you have any positions, basically meaning if you are holding any shares of something, if you've bought shares in the past and you're still holding, it'll then show those shares right there on that same page. So multiple different things, pretty much all you need to see at a glance. Very simple, very straightforward and to the point there on one page. And really that's about it. All you have left with the other 4 tabs that you have at your disposal is going to be the one right next to that, which kind of prompts you to sign up for their cash management. And then you have the search function right in the middle, which lets you find new stocks to trade. So you just do a basic search and then you select the one you want, and then you can decide to either buy it or sell it from there very simply. And then the other 2 tabs are there's one for notifications from Robinhood, and then there's another one for managing your account settings. So from the Robinhood side, things are very, very easy. Even when you want to execute a trade on Robinhood, it's simple. You find the stock you want to trade, you click on it, you then hit the button that indicates whether or not you want to, the trade button so that you can then buy or sell. And then once you get in there, you just decide what you want to do, and it's only a couple steps. So Robinhood is very simple, straightforward, and to the point. Also, like I said, fees is one of the other things you want to keep in mind. So we already went over now the user interface of Robinhood. I pretty much give that like a 10 out of 10 as far as simplicity is concerned. You really can't dumb it down much more than that. Yeah, it's just really hard to simplify a brokerage beyond the way that they simplified Robinhood. to get done all the things that you need to get done, and to be able to even do some more advanced things like not just market orders, but limit orders and stop loss orders, and then also trade options, and have all of these things packaged so neatly into this simple, easy to use platform that's extremely beginner friendly. It's just the ideal platform for beginners that are moving up towards even becoming intermediate. And then once you get closer to that stage, I think it's probably a good idea to start looking at something else. And so now let's take a look at Webull just so you can see the comparison that I'm going to make. Alright, so now here is Webull, and as you can probably already tell just from first glance, things look a lot more complicated just here on the main home screen here. So I'm going to try and break this down as simply as I can without going too much in depth, just to give you a comparison of the basic functionality that we just saw in Robinhood versus kind of just the basic quick overview of Webull, and you'll see how much more complicated it is. And that doesn't mean it's worse by any means. In fact, I, to some degree, think it's better, and we'll talk about that in the conclusion here. But let's just take a look here. So you can still see your total account value just like we did in Robinhood, where you saw it was like $850 on my Robinhood account. Here you see this one's about $120. And then you see all these different things: market, cash balance, risk, day trade, overnight BP day, options BP, buying power, crypto buying power. And that's already a whole lot more than we even saw probably in totality looking at the Robinhood information. And then you still get that chart just like you did on Robinhood, and you can look at the time frames, and then you can take a quick glance at your positions right here. So do you have any open buys? Do you have any, are you holding any shares of something or anything like that? That's what would show here. You can check the history, and then if you scroll down kind of on the left here, you can see your day trades, how many you have left, and it just keeps going and going and going, and there's just more and more stuff. And these are certainly not options that you have on the Robinhood side as well. Now, one thing worth noting is right here, one of these options is paper trading. So this is one of the reasons that Webull is good for beginners. If not anything else, it's going to be this right here. And that's the fact that it lets you practice trading with fake money. So you can, during market hours when the stock market's open, you can practice, give yourself a set account limit and practice buying and selling and trying to be profitable with fake money versus having to use a separate platform to trade with paper money. So if for no other reason you download Webull, that would be one if you're a beginner. But other than that, as you'll see as we move through here, Webull is a lot more complicated just looking at it. So we'll start moving over now to the very left. This is kind of your positions and watch list area. So this part's not very complicated, but as you can see, this just shows you under my positions tab what kind of trades that you have open. So I'm apparently holding some shares of CX, BlackBerry, Bitcoin, and ADT. And so that's why that shows there. You also have the option to search or manage a list or add a list. If I click on my watch list though, I can now cycle through my different lists, my different watch lists that I have here. And so you can see here now I have my 3-3 watch list, my 3-4, 3-4-21, 3-5, and so on. I have a lot of lists, and this is my main one here. And this is very similar to Robinhood, but as you can see, the user interface just isn't quite as inviting, and it just looks a lot more cluttered. There's more information, which is typically a good thing, but as a beginner, you kind of want to keep things as simple as possible so you don't get lost and confused. Then, this is the markets tab here. Basically, this lets you find new stocks to look into. Way more complicated than what you saw on Robinhood. Basically, all they do was suggest you maybe a couple stocks to look at and then give you a couple categories to search by. Here you can look, United States, global, or set up these really specific screeners to search all this particular criteria, which exchange out of which region, what kind of market cap stocks do you want to trade. You can manually set that. And then all these different things. Do you want to search by technical indicators? And then going back here, just all these different graphs, and then all these different screeners. Now, don't get me wrong, these things really come in handy, but again, as a beginner, someone that's really starting from the beginning, you're definitely going to get lost in here, and you might even want to just quit after you get so lost and have like 50 things to research now and figure out what they mean. But here you see there's a top gainers screener, top losers, so on and so forth. You could do pre-market, after hours, 5 day, one day, and then finding stocks, based off who's hitting a new 52-week high or low, and then who has earnings events coming up on their calendar soon, dividends being paid out, which stocks are splitting soon, which ETFs are doing very well, and it just kind of goes on and on and on and on. So there's a lot to go through there, but like I said, a lot of options. It's almost a little overwhelming if you're new. Then if we kind of skip past the home tab, because we started there, and go to the right, this is community. Keep in mind it does look a little bit different because I'm using my phone hooked up to my computer using Samsung DeX, so you can see the mobile app but off of my computer, so that it looks it's a little easier to manipulate. But here in community, this is one of the cool things about Webull that you don't get on Robinhood. And basically it's the opportunity to post things and other people can read your posts and comment on it. Almost think of it like a Twitter built in, like a Twitter or Facebook or Instagram comment section. So you can create these posts, they can have images and whatnot, and people can reply back to you. So you can either do that from community, you can like people's comments or their posts, you can comment on them, or you can do that from actually within a stock itself. So if we went to GameStop, for example, and hopefully it'll let me do it from the desktop version here. Okay, so I'll scroll over to comments, and then we can see all of the different people that were right on this page, just like I am. They typed a post, and we'll just say hello, and now my post is up there, and people can comment, reply back to me, like it, dislike it, and tell me how they feel about what I just said. So that's actually really cool. It really comes in handy, not to take advice from these guys because they usually don't know how to trade, but to see what the overall sentiment is on that particular stock. You can see if people feel like it's going to go down or go up. So that can really come in handy sometimes. And that's the community. And then over here, that's where it just goes to your notifications, and then you have account settings. So Webull is just way more complicated than Robinhood is, and this is probably a good time to kind of conclude and summarize everything. So I think I skipped over the commission fees part, but Robinhood and Webull are both commission free. So whichever one you decide to go through, you're not going to have to worry about paying anything out of pocket to use it. So it's free to deposit money, it's free to withdraw money as long as you do it the normal way, and then it's also free to buy and to sell, and also to trade options or whatever you want to get into. Now, it's free as in Robinhood and Webull don't charge any commission fees per trade. There are still SEC costs that do get passed down to you, but a lot of times these are like 1,000th or 2,000ths of a cent or 200ths of a cent or something really, really small, depending on what kind of trade you're executing. So you'll almost never see the fee coming out of your actual trade. So if you're buying, let's just say, one share of Wendy's there at $23, and then they charge you 1,000th of a cent, you'll probably have no idea anyway. But that has nothing to do with Robinhood or Webull, and there's no way to get around that, so there's almost no point in talking about it. Basically, commission free and completely free to use. So you won't go wrong in any department there. Now, the last point was reliability. Both of them are relatively reliable. I use both of them, and if they weren't reliable, I wouldn't use them. So I would not say that you have to worry about reliability. But overall reliability, what I think of is something being safe to use, which they obviously are, and then it really just being reliable and trustworthy. Like, it's not going to go down on you at a bad time, and you can really trust the company. Now with Webull, more often than not, Webull is up and running and I have no issues whatsoever with them going down. There's very specific times that you know that they're going to go down for maintenance. They let you know in advance, and you kind of get used to their maintenance schedule every single day. It is a little inconvenient, and I will say that they tend to go down more for maintenance than Robinhood does per day. But overall, once you get used to the schedule, you just learn to work around it. And it's really most annoying for trading crypto because the time frame that they go down for a whole hour is just right after market close. So sometimes you can miss out on some action, but other than that, Webull is great and reliable, no issues there. Now with Robinhood, it's a little bit different. Now don't get me wrong, it's not that I lack trust in it to the point where I won't use it or I won't suggest that you use it. By all means I do. But the thing is, more recently, they have been having these issues where at bad times they seem to go down when these stocks, when people were making a ton of money, GameStop, Dogecoin, those aren't completely accurate examples, but I'm just saying the stocks, just think of some things that kind of went to the moon. The first thing is that come to your head. When those things were going really high up, really fast, people weren't able to sell. And when these things were going down really fast, people weren't able to buy. They just always seem to crash at a really, really odd time and go down for a long period of time. So if you're not really careful, sometimes you can end up in a bad spot. And I know a couple people that did get burned because of that. So it's just something to keep in mind. But as a beginner trader, when it comes to trustworthiness, when it comes to reliability and those kind of things, and when it comes to also being free to use, both of these succeed in my opinion, and neither one of them really have issues. Obviously, sometimes I feel a little less comfortable with Robinhood, but it's not anything that makes me stop using them. It's just something that makes me be careful when I'm trading with large amounts of money. I still 100% recommend Robinhood to beginners, and also I would then recommend Webull to people that are more towards the intermediate stage. And in conclusion here, what I want to do is show you on the desktop applications what those look like, and then also compare the last thing that makes these two stand apart from each other, and that's going to be the charts. So first, let's just start with Robinhood and look at their desktop applications here. So as you can see here, the desktop application of Robinhood looks incredibly similar to the mobile version. Now, as far as ease of use goes, that's great because it's familiar. No matter if you're logged into your phone, in your smartphone, or if you go onto the website, the overall layout's gonna pretty much look the same and the functionality is gonna be the same. So it's almost like you're just coming right back home here. So that's what this looks like. All right, and so as you take a look, everything is kind of laid out the exact same way that it was in the mobile app. You can see the suggestions that they give you, and then you also see you have the opportunity to take a look at your finances, your buying powers, get your notifications, see news, and then select a stock and try to trade it. Now, all right, that was not actually where I wanted to go, so let's go back. Okay. So here's where the differences come in. Let's take a look here at the chart. At the chart for any particular stock here. So let's just pick one. Let's go with maybe sundial growers. Yeah, let's do that. This is the charting you get on Robinhood. All right, and this is whether or not you're in the mobile version or if you're on the desktop version. Now, as you can see here, I see a very, very basic line chart, and it doesn't really tell me anything. I don't have any price indicators on the side, like indicating what levels are. And so I really just get this line that shows the trend. Not very informative. If you're a beginner, this could tell you more than enough. But if you're more advanced and you start looking for more pieces of information, you just don't find it here. And as you continue to move up in time frame, nothing really changes, nothing really gets better. Now, if you want to, there is the more advanced style, and so I have to kind of lean around my camera here to see the screen here. So we'll just understand that and accept that. Now you can see you have the option to expand to full screen and then use candles instead of the line chart. If you know what candles are, candlesticks, you know that they're much better for reading charts. They give you way more information. But the problem is the candlestick charts on Robinhood are pretty bad. And maybe I should have went to Dogecoin after all, so I could have showed you the live. Actually, let me just do that now. Let's go to Dogecoin, just any cryptocurrency that's still trading at this moment. And let's go to, so this will also let us see the live chart here on Robinhood. This is where things get pretty bad when you start looking for more data, okay? because this is the way the chart looks, and it's not the best. So this is the 5-year candlestick chart. Then you go to the 1 year, you can just see like something about the color coordination and the wicks on these candles just does not look accurate. And it kind of gets worse the lower time frame you go. Once you pass like the 1 month time frame and go below that. So now we're on 3 months. Let's go to 1 month. And as you can see, now everything just gets super sloppy and hard to look at, right? Now you almost don't even want to use the candlestick chart anymore. You would probably just rather use the line chart. That's how bad the candlesticks get here. Most other programs don't look anything like this when you use the candlestick chart. Then I'll keep moving along. The 1 week, as you can see, you can't adjust this here. I can't contract the screen to make more sense of the patterns going on here. You just kind of get it how they give it to you, unfortunately. And then if you go down even further to the more relevant time frames, which is going to be like the 1 day or even the live, things are just like, look at these candles here. They always have these massive wicks on the top and bottom and these really weird bodies, no matter what, always. And even if I go to live, if you take a look at this, it's just absolutely hideous, right? Absolutely hideous. So pretty much the charts on Robinhood are almost not worth using. It's pretty much, as a beginner, you use the line chart and you get the hang of trading, and then you start venturing out and figuring out another place to look at for charting. And if you even try to add some of the most common indicators here, like you have, let's just say, the MACD, the RSI, and the exponential moving average. It looks all right. The indicators here, they look fine, but the chart itself is terrible, so it really doesn't do it any favors at the end of the day. So that's what we're dealing with here on Robinhood. Now let's compare and contrast that to something more advanced like Webull. As you can see, first and foremost, though things look maybe a little more complicated, it's already kind of a breath of fresh air here. Just the amount of breathing room that you get using a program that looks like it was actually made for desktop. And then just look at the difference in charting here. The candlestick patterns on the live chart here on the 1 minute time frame, they actually hold meaning. You can clearly see the green, clearly see the red. The wicks are correct, unlike on here. And we'll just flip this back so we can compare what the two charts look like on the same time frame. Notice how much more information you can get from something like this versus this. It is just night and day, absolutely night and day. There's no comparison. So basically, the desktop app of Webull blows Robinhood out of the water, and even the charting on the mobile version of Webull, it's the same thing. You can get the same kind of thing going. No, you can't do the cool stuff like you can here, like with the having multiple little trading windows up or anything like that, or creating your own custom boards. You can't do that on mobile, but you can still get the advanced charting, and on Robinhood you can't get any of it at all. So basically, in conclusion guys, I hope you found this useful and informative. I know the video was just a little bit long, but I wanted to make sure, as a user of both, because I use both, by the way. I use Webull for the charting and some executing of trades, and then most of the time for trading crypto, I use Robinhood. I notice for Dogecoin, there seems to be more activity, so the trades go through at better prices, and sometimes it's just easier to just type a number in and swipe up and have that trade go through if I'm busy. So if you want to give either one of these a try, I do have links, referral links, that I will put in the description below, and what they'll allow you to do is get free stocks with whichever one you decide to sign up with, whether that's Robinhood or if it's with Webull. Now also keep in mind, there's no real harm in having more than one brokerage. So if you really feel undecided and you're really torn and you feel like you're maybe a little bit further along than beginner, but maybe not quite to intermediate, and you kind of just want both, either way, feel free to download both. They're both free. They don't do any like credit checks or anything weird like that. So there's literally no harm in trying both brokerages out and seeing which one you like. But again, if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, just go back to Robinhood, come back to Webull later. But don't forget that Webull does have the paper trading feature built in, so you can really get some good practice in here as well. So That's going to do it for this video, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. Hope you found it informative. If so, click that like button below. And if you want to catch more videos like this, of course, click subscribe and then hit the notification bell and select all so that you actually get notified when I post the next video and you can see it and get that information as soon as possible. So again, I appreciate your support and I will catch you guys in the next video.